Calgary Pride proudly serves Treaty 7 on the traditional territory of the Niitsitapi Confederacy, Ayahe Nakoda, and Esutina. This land is also home to a Métis Nation of Alberta, Region 3, within the historical Northwest Métis homeland. This place, where the Elbow River meets the Bow, is known by many names to many people, including Mohkinstsis, Winchespa, Kurtsisaw, Otwaskune, and Calgary. We thank the indigenous communities of Turtle Island for both the historic and ongoing stewardship and protection of the land we collectively inhabit today. Many nations and people, indigenous and non, are fortunate to call Mohkinstsis and Treaty 7 territory our home. Acknowledging this land is Indigenous protocol, which we honor as a step towards reconciliation and fulfilling our responsibilities as treaty people. Working alongside all nations, Indigenous and non, we strive to create safe spaces where everyone can live openly and authentically.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Pridecast, brought to you by CJSW. My name is Meg. My pronouns are they, them, or he, him, and I am the volunteer coordinator for Calgary Pride. Although I am rocking my drag look today in honor of our very special guest that I am super thrilled to have here today. For those who don't know, the fabulous Shane On You is a drag king making waves in the drag scene all across Alberta. They are the premier sexy and sultry daddy of the Calgary drag scene, serving you old school style, eyes that will melt your heart. Shane brings a unique blend of campiness, sex appeal, and that has brought audiences consistently screaming for more. And you can find this drag superstar not only here on Prodcast, but also performing at Twisted Element with Fake Mustache at Dickens Pub, ISCCA events, or really anywhere with a stage and beautiful people ready to meet the daddy of their dreams. Honestly, shame on you if you have not fallen in love with Shane On You. So, welcome, Shane. Thank you for joining us today. I'm super stoked to have you.
Thank you very much.
Oh my goodness, I'm like vibrating with excitement. I'm kind of a huge fan.
Excellent.
But I'm going to pass it on to you and ask if you could tell us a little bit more about yourself and kind of what sparked your inspiration for drag and performance.
Absolutely. So my name is Shane On You, and I use he, him pronouns in drag, and I use he, she, they out of drag. So all of the above
Fun.
for now. That could change in the future. Who knows?
Gender is fluid.
Exactly. And the question was, what brought me into drag?
Yeah, what kind of sparked that inspiration for you?
Well, it's kind of a funny story. I'm one of the older performers, not in length of performing, but in age. So I had a midlife crisis.
Oh,
and kind of wanted to do something different. And Okotoks had this pride, their very first pride.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really small-scale pride, but I went there and there was a drag show there.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw some performers and I said, I want to do that. So I went up and asked them. Plus, I had been following a few drag kings online as well. So,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The online drag king presence is certainly growing these days.
Yes, for sure.
And I love that. I think you just recently performed at Okotoks Pride as well, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually co-chair for Okotoks Pride.
Fabulous.
Yeah,
Making all the connections.
Exactly, and we had our first larger scale Pride, which was nice, and was right on Main Street, so
Stunning.
you couldn't miss it. We weren't hidden in the bush in a park, so it was perfect.
I mean, honestly, they can try to hide this, but I don't think they could, especially with that jacket, honestly. So you said it was like a midlife crisis. So do you
Yes.
think drag has definitely helped you kind of express and discover things about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely has. I've become more comfortable in my skin through drag. I recently come out as trans, so I'm still I haven't decided, I think I'm more non-binary than either, but
Yeah.
I am taking testosterone,
Yeah.
which is new to me, and it's been a blessing. It's, just kind of been finding my path, and it's been so joyful.
I
I
love
don't even
that.
know how to describe it.
Like, drag is honestly such a great medium for self-expression and, like, just discovering these things about yourself and
Exactly.
discovering it by just being around so many diverse, amazing people.
Exactly, and that was part of it too. Like, not only getting to dress and feel the way I want to, but having people around me who are going through the same thing,
Yeah.
and that I was able to talk to, which was phenomenal.
Again,
So,
representation matters. I say it all the
Here,
time.
here.
This is the first time. It won't be the last time.
Yep.
But that's kind of similar to how I got into drag as well, as I wanted to explore a little bit about myself.
Exactly.
Kind of touch into that masculine aspect. So I feel you on that.
Yep.
For sure. So, as is a common story with a lot of the queer community and the drag community, what are kind of the struggles that you've faced since you started out in drag? Anything that's kind of stood out like, oh man, this is struggle busting through?
Well, in the first 3 years, the struggle was, getting out there, getting places to perform, all that kind of stuff. Doing a lot of free performances, which, I still do. But now I also get booked as well. So those were kind of some of the struggles. Now, after the pandemic, some of the bigger struggles have been the outside world. As you know, I do a lot of extra stuff like reading with royalty and all that. And I've had a lot of threats at my life right now because of that kind of stuff, both here in Calgary and out in Okotoks where I live. So that's been some of the struggles, but it hasn't, it scared me a little bit at first, but then to see the response of the children around me saying, I'm so glad you're here. And then even the adults saying, I wish this was around when I was a kid. I had to get rid of that fear, and I had to say, I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah.
So I just, those are some of the challenges now. And just now that I'm getting bookings, which is great, it's just dealing with some of the outside stuff that's a little more difficult.
Yeah, it definitely takes a toll, but it's really, really powerful to have the community come together, especially those little ones when they look up at you. It's just like, I know you melt in hearts, but those ones, they really do hit you right in your, right in your soul, honestly. So you did mention that you do reading with royalty, right?
Yes.
So you've kind of been doing it for a while now. I do recall actually you live streaming from your own house readings during the lockdown. So you're super committed to that quality, wholesome story time. So what kind of inspired you to be like, okay, I want to combine the art of drag and engaging with families and kiddos in that really wholesome story?
Well, it all started with Calgary Pride, doing this reading with royalty, which I fell in love with. And then when we went into the pandemic and had to shut down, I was like, we should still be doing this. And this was before we really got together and started doing the virtual readings. So in that time gap, right at the very beginning, I was doing readings on my own YouTube channel 3 times a week, just to keep myself active. And I had such a collection of books I wanted to share with the kids. So I have all those on my YouTube channel still.
That's so wholesome.
Yeah.
I do recall seeing them on my Facebook because I do have you on Facebook. And it's like, you go, Shane. You get into that story time. Yes. It's honestly so important, especially when you are isolated. You really need to feel like you're still part of a community.
Absolutely.
Really
Absolutely. Like I said, if I had seen some of this stuff when I was younger, and that's why I'm like, I refuse to shove it back under the carpet. I'm going to make sure it's available, and I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to be there. So
there's plenty of little Shanes out there that need older Shanes to kind of inspire them and be like, oh my God, I'm not an outlier. I'm not the only one. It's really, really powerful to have that. So don't need that guy anymore. Drag has kind of had a really big, vast significance within the 2S LGBTQ plus community and the movement, and it's still honestly a big part of it. It's one of the first things you see at every Pride celebration is drag performers. So what are your kind of your thoughts on the modern drag community and how they are influencing the movement for 2S LGBTQ plus rights and freedoms?
Well, especially, I'm not gonna, locally, I think we have, especially here in Calgary, we have a phenomenal drag artist base. Everything from queens to kings and everything in between. And I think we do a really good job of showcasing the different types of drag there are out there, because there is so much more to drag than just, pardon the expression, RuPaul. Right? And there is so much more performance to it than just what you see on that show. Don't get me wrong, that show's fabulous. It's done lots, but it's bigger than that. There's just so much more to it, the artistry. And I find that our community has a really good showcase of that.
Yeah, for sure. There's plenty of usually call them drag monarchs. Those are kind of those in-betweens and around the usual queen and king kind of definition.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
We actually have a local monarch right now performing on Canada's Drag Race Season 3.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so stunning. Our local talent is actually being represented in the media, which is I've been waiting for it. You've been in the East Coast and the eastern half of Canada. Come on over here, Alberta. You won't believe your eyes.
Yeah,
it's stunning.
It's weird because of where we are. You wouldn't think, but because and Edmonton's got a good sized one, but Calgary's is huge.
Huge.
Like, we have a huge, and the biggest drag king troupe in Calgary, like, you know,
Shout out to
where
Fake
else
Mustache,
is that? Yeah,
like,
shout out to
yes.
Fake Mustache.
Yeah.
You know, so last I had heard, we were at 195 performers in that cast. So goes to show you we're
it's
there.
just growing so much, and I love seeing the new performers.
Yeah, me too.
And the baby kings, queens, and monarchs just kind of get up on stage and like come alive.
Just go, yeah.
It's really empowering.
It is.
But you being a more seasoned performer and all those lovely budding performers kind of dipping their toes into the drag scene, what kind of advice can you give to them to kind of help them, you know, come into themselves and embrace their own form of drag?
Well, you know, with a lot of people, I tell them to practice at home, you know, have fun in the mirror, see what feels comfortable. And then when you're ready, there's lots of stages that you can hop on and perform, and contests where you can, you know, like Twisted's got a contest where you can perform, and if you win, you get a paid spot.
Oh, I love that.
You know, and Fake Mustache brings on new performers all the time.
All the time.
You know, and so my I guess my advice would be, don't give up. Go to lots of different drag shows, talk to people in the drag community, you know, and see where you feel comfortable, and ask a lot of questions.
So many questions, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and for those that are kind of like, I don't know how to, you know, do my face and stuff like that. Oh my God, the internet is such a vast resource.
Absolutely. And I'm sure, like, in the past we've done it, and I'm sure we could do it again if there was a need for it. Calgary Pride might even do a face painting workshop. We've done it before.
Little
you know, things
drag
like,
101 kind
drag
of thing.
101s, which we have done in the past.
Yeah, I
so.
think I attended one hosted by the Marvelous Mo.
So did I. That's where I learned my
my God.
first little bit.
We might have actually been at that same one.
I think we were.
Oh, small world. It all
Yeah.
comes full circle.
Yeah,
comes full
exactly.
circle. I love it. So you did mention RuPaul, and honestly, RuPaul has done amazing work with actually just bringing drag into the mainstream media, because we were pretty low key before, pretty hidden in bars and things like that.
Yeah.
And now we're out and about during the daytime, day drag,
Yeah.
and interacting with a lot more diverse communities than just the bar scene. So yeah, that's great, but do you think that RuPaul's Drag Race actually shows an accurate representation of the drag community?
I do not. I hate to say it. It's getting better, and
Yeah.
he's slowly, he both, because he's both on there, is expanding on that. But they still have a long way to go on that show. A long way to go on that show. Some of the other shows you can check out that are much more of a wholesome or wider representation would be Dragula, and even better, Call Me Mother.
Oh yes, I heard about that one.
Which is absolutely completely Canadian, and we've had local people in it, like Valerie Hunt was in it, and she was a runner-up, and she's a local queen here.
I love Valerie.
So and it's that kind of setup that showcases the broader set. It wasn't just kings and queens. There was everything.
Yeah.
Right? There was monarchs and everything in between. So it was really good to watch. That's one I'd suggest to check out.
Okay, Call Me Mother. If you haven't
Call Me
seen it,
Mother.
make sure you find out where to watch
Absolutely.
it, stream it, binge watch it.
Yeah, I think
Get your fill.
I think you can see it on Out TV, and there might be other places too. But yeah.
Yeah. All those streaming services. There's like a million these days.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So you said in your bio that hopefully I didn't butcher that you're performing with Fake Mustache, with Twisted Element, any ISCCA events. What kind of current and like upcoming events do you have going on that maybe folks who haven't been blessed by your performance and your persona can come and see you at?
Families can come check me out. I do an all ages show at Twisted once a month, and the next one is July 30th, and the one after that is August 30th. And what that is all age performers. So I happen to be the oldest, and everybody else is under 18.
Oh,
So
drag
yeah,
babies, I love it.
my performers range from 12 to 17. Mostly in the 14, 15, 16 age area. But I do that a lot, and it's open to families, you know, and they're not drinking events, you know, like it's like a brunch, a
We love a
family
sober
brunch.
event, yes.
Exactly. And, you know, and sometimes we do a drag show and a dance too. And then some of the other things, Pride, of course, coming up. Lots of stuff going on there as well. I'll be performing at Twisted with some big names. Pay attention. They
let's
will
go.
be coming out
Oh, yes.
soon. Yes, a big drag king's coming. So I'm looking forward to that for
That'd
sure.
be stunning, honestly. I might have to clear my schedule when
Yes.
that comes out, because I've been missing the drag scene.
Yeah, you
You
should.
know, quarantine happened, and then everybody's a little bit anxious about going out. But honestly, even in all the other social spaces that I've been in, when you go to a drag show, people are so mindful.
Yeah.
And they're so like caring about like, okay, we got to give you space.
Yeah.
We got to make sure that we're being safe and like cognizant of like the COVID stuff. So honestly, if you're nervous about it, just know that those communities are really, really proactive with that. I love to see it. Yeah. So what other questions can I pull out of my brain today? Okay. So you said that you saw drag performers and that was like, oh my God, I want to do that. Who were those drag performers? Do you remember who they were that inspired you?
I absolutely do. Like, Mo was one.
Oh my gosh, yes, Mo.
I saw Mo at the first Calgary Pride Parade that I was thinking about doing drag, and I just ran up to them and I just started talking to them. That was a real inspiration. Of course, James Dean, who's
just a big teddy bear, that guy.
Phenomenal in the drag community, and then not locally, but Landon Cider, of course.
I do remember you taking so many photos with Landon when they were here.
I love Landon. Landon is phenomenal, and they're one of these ones that's broken the mold. You know?
Yeah, I was so stoked to hear about how they did on their show.
Yeah, they won season 3 of Dragula, I believe it was, and killed it. Like, just killed it. First king to take away a title like that.
It just came in and was like, okay, this is how it's done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then the other one is, I hope I can say this, it's Spiky Van Dyke.
Oh, yeah, classic. We love Spiky.
Phenomenal artist. And it was actually their beards that made me decide, because I've always loved beards. I was like, I want to do beards, and I want to do real beards. Because you see a lot of people draw on beards. And and I've got no issues with that, but I was like, I want to do real beards.
Oh my gosh, you know, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Actually, this was a purchase inspired by this.
Yes.
Yeah, and I was like, I need a beard like Shane's.
Yeah.
Like, I need to. Like, I'm so tired of drawing it on. I need to have, like, a lumberjack beard.
Yeah.
And I just, like, went out and purchased it. Was it a lot of money? Yeah, but worth
Absolutely.
it. Honestly, I'm serving looks.
Yeah, some of my most expensive beards are, like, this is one of the top end ones. You can't really tell right now because it needs a good clean, but like with those beards that cost a little more, when I put that one on the very first time, no word of a lie, I actually cried.
Oh my God, the gender euphoria just like hit you so hard.
And I don't have gender dysphoria, but
That's okay.
the gender euphoria that I got from that was, I was shocked. I was like, this is what I want to look like.
And that's why it's really, really important for everybody to play with that expression.
And that's
right?
what I say. You've got to play at home. You've got to try it out. And then when you do go out and do it, own it. Like, just own it and be proud of what you've done, and other people will feel it.
It's very empowering, honestly.
It
like,
is.
The most nerve-wracking is right before you step on the stage, and then when you're on there, like, who is that? Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
Yeah.
The persona takes over.
It does. It absolutely
Right.
takes over. And then you can just see in the faces why you're up there. You're like, yeah, I love this.
Yeah, it's good. It definitely is an ego boost.
Yeah, it for sure is.
My own personal moment where I was like, I got to do drag, like, I got to get up there, was actually at the Gender Bender at MRU, and it was the very best. And I was like, oh my God, look at him up there.
Yeah.
Stunning, amazing. Look at that golden suit, everything. I need this. I need this in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's as simple as it is you see something and you're like, I want to do that, right?
I want to be that.
Yeah.
I want to empower that energy, and it's really just...
And that's the beauty of the day and age. You can.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Ain't nobody stopping you. Go pop on over to the costume shop, see a couple of our friends from Fake Mustache over there.
Hit some of us up online as well. We'll tell you where to go and come. And,
Follow us on social media.
Yeah, very important.
For sure. Like, you're welcome to plug your social media to your heart's content for Pridecast if you'd like.
Well, yeah, and it's on Instagram, it's ShaneOnYou_1.
Number 1.
It's Shane on You everywhere, or Shanna McPherson with an MACPHERSON. Yeah, that's pretty much, even on YouTube, like, say I have my own YouTube channel. So those are all my social media.
Yeah, they can even go back and watch some of your story times there.
Absolutely.
They just need a good bedtime story.
And anything that says story time with Shane on You is for kids.
Yeah.
Anything else is, you kind of have to be careful because it might be a drag performer but it has in the title what it is.
It's very clearly labeled.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
we love a clear label.
Exactly.
My ADHD brain loves a clear label, honestly.
Maybe something I'll add. I'll add
Yes,
something
you can
about
add something, of course. This is
about
yours.
the reading with royalty. I get a lot of questions about that.
Oh, yes,
and,
tell us
and
more.
I'd love to let people know that it's age appropriate. The books that we read are about love, tolerance, and acceptance. And I find that with a lot of those reading with royalty programs, when we're reading to the kids, the parents learn twice as much as the kids do. The children, for whatever reason, because we're innocent or we just don't think mean stuff. It doesn't even cross their mind, you know, some of the things that parents might have to process with the books. So after the stories are read, a lot of times we have parents come up and say, wow, I didn't realize this, or I didn't know that. And a lot of it is coming to term with their own biases, which I think is very important, that people need to realize that they do have their own biases. But to remember that these story times are exactly that. These Reading with Royalties are story times. Like, they're educational in, you know, life education, you know, not pushing anything on anybody, just giving people terminology and things to talk about and bridging conversations between children and adults. So that's something I'd like to add about Reading with Royalty that I think is absolutely phenomenal. Been with the program since the beginning, and if you haven't checked it out, you should. You really should.
I've definitely been to a couple of readings, and honestly, they're just... Those books are just, like, so great, and the energy that the performers bring, and the kids are just, like, completely enamored.
Yeah.
They love it, right?
Yeah.
And kids, they are so open and accepting. It's just like, oh, hey, this lady has a beard. Okay.
Exactly.
That's it. That's fine.
And
Right?
you'll even see some of them will put on, we do dress up afterwards, right? Now we can, after the pandemic. We had to wait a little bit, but now we're doing dress up again, and it's so nice to see, you know, little boys running around with tutus and feeling comfortable doing it, right? And that's the kind of space that we provide, right? So
Yeah, it's
think
just
very
pure
important.
joy, right? And kiddos are just honestly a endless supply of pure joy.
Absolutely.
You give them the opportunity to just, like, express themselves without boundaries, they're going to shock you, and you're going to learn something from them, right? And with my education background, like, honestly, I learn more from the kids than anybody else.
Me too.
Right? They are just authentically themselves.
Yes,
And
exactly.
that's what we're all just trying to be, is authentically ourselves.
Yeah.
So even though, you know, you're there and other monarchs are there providing that education in that language and stuff like that, I think the real teachers are the actual kids themselves.
Absolutely, and it really breaks down barriers. It really does. I'd encourage more people to bring their families, and it doesn't have to be little kids. Like I say, it doesn't matter who comes. We get lots of people that come, all ages.
Honestly,
my mother
yeah.
comes.
Yeah, like bring your grandparents too.
Yeah.
They love a story time, and
Yeah.
then they can see all the little kiddos, and it's just a joyful thing. And with the weather being so nice and everything like that, like, it'll be out. A lot of them are outdoors now.
Some of them will
It's
be
almost
for
like
sure.
a little picnic. It's really wholesome. I went to the one at the Central Memorial Park when the trees were just blooming, and it was
Yeah.
like, wow, this is, like, honestly like a movie scene.
Yeah.
Like, people should be taking wedding photos here.
We did a
It's
couple
stunning.
at the zoo. Like,
Oh, yeah.
it's been amazing.
It's amazing how much a single story can, like, bring people together, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and there's stories that need to be told.
Yeah, they
for
are.
sure.
They absolutely are.
Yeah, ones that you don't find in, like, your classroom library that should be in your classroom
No,
library.
yeah. Some of the more progressive schools, I think, probably have a little bit of a rainbow section, but
Yeah,
But,
I know that
yeah.
the process of getting the books in there is, like, there's a whole criteria, because you know
Exactly.
schools, the education system, there's a criteria for everything
Yeah.
that some person
and of course
wrote.
we're in Alberta too, so
Yeah, but you know what? You got to start somewhere.
You do.
And it's growing.
You
and
absolutely do.
And the positivity in the community is just really empowering.
and we're not going anywhere.
Oh no, you could try, but honey,
Nope.
we're here to stay.
Absolutely.
We're here, we're queer. We're not going to disappear.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the motto, right?
Exactly.
There's a reason it rhymes.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
not going back to the 80s and going back in the closet because people
No.
are scared.
Maybe go back just for the leather jackets, though.
Oh yeah, well yeah, no,
The
I
fashion
liked-
was
and
okay.
the music. I mean, the music was good. I
Yeah.
liked the music. So.
I'm honestly, like, just waiting for them to bring back crop tops for men.
Yeah.
Like, come on, they have
Come to
so
the
many
club,
crop
you'll
tops.
see lots.
Yes, right. But we need more crop tops for men.
Yeah. I agree.
Honestly, everybody should be dressing in a way that they feel empowered and beautiful.
Yeah.
Right, and that could be a sequined rainbow jacket
Yeah.
that you're rocking today. Could be a tutu. Could
Exactly. Body positivity too, I think is very important. That's something that drag really helps with.
Oh yeah. I see a lot of phenomenal diverse bodies represented through fake
Yes.
mustache.
Yeah, me
which is
too.
stunning. Like disabled bodies, plus size bodies,
Yep.
just the whole range.
Yep.
Lots of different ethnicities as well. It's a
Yep.
beautiful thing, right? And it should be something that's celebrated.
I agree.
All bodies are beautiful. Everybody has one.
Here, here.
And my motto is, if you can appreciate all shapes and sizes of dogs, you can appreciate all shapes and sizes of people,
Exactly.
right? Like
Exactly.
this little tiny little Chihuahua, perfect. This giant like Burmese mountain dog, perfect,
Perfect, yeah.
right? And so are people,
Exactly.
right? It's
Yeah.
an empowering thing. If you haven't tried drag, I honestly,
You got to do it.
10 out of 10, 10 for 10 would recommend.
Try, for sure.
Drag.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's honestly empowering. Yeah. So, so that is all the questions I have for you today, my friend. Honestly, I could talk to you for hours and hours on end, and take up all of CGSW's time because you're such an inspiration to me as a drag performer, and I would just like really love to continue to build on my own craft and embody that positivity and that like passion for the community to just go out, express yourself, and inspire others to express themselves, you know?
Absolutely.
And just discover that diversity about themselves. That's what makes our community so beautiful is the diversity, right?
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
and just like flex so many more fake beards. Like,
Absolutely.
love it.
Glitter beards. I have them
I love a glitter
all.
beard.
Yeah. I love
Yeah.
them all. I love
So
them.
good.
I
So
really
good.
like yours too. I like
oh,
this
thank
stuff.
you. I was like, make it a lumberjack beard.
Yeah, no, I love
right?
it.
And I was like, here's a picture of my brother who has the best beard ever. I want that. Right? So,
Yeah.
yeah. But the fun thing is at the end of the day, when I don't want a beard, bye.
Get to take it off. Yeah.
There you go. Baby face again.
Exactly.
The fluidity of it is amazing.
It is.
So, obviously, I want to thank you for coming in for Pridecast and just being so open and vulnerable about your art and just who you are and your experiences. It's really an inspiration. It makes my heart very happy. And it definitely brings a huge, huge value to our Pridecast lineup, I guess you could say. And also to us LGBTQ community as a whole, not just here in Calgary, but just anybody who gets to see the amazing Shane on You, right? And if you have not seen Shane, shame on you.
Yeah,
Of course.
exactly.
That's your logo. That's your motto, right?
Yep.
So we would also like to acknowledge and say thank you to our sponsors who have come in and made Pridecast a possibility so that we can sit here and talk with wonderful folks like Shane. And of course, don't forget to visit calgarypride.ca to see what kind of fun events, Pride Week events, festival, parade, all that great stuff that's happening. Check out the Pride 2022 page, and you can see a whole lineup of all the great things we have planned. And also on our social medias. I'm super, super excited to be part of it. I'm super excited to have Shane be a part of it, and everybody who's tuning into Pridecast. Super stoked to have you. And thank you again, Shane, for coming in today.
Thanks for having me. It's going to be a
heart is
great
so
Pride.
happy. So
Yay.
happy.